Good morning. Welcome to a 90-minute flow with me, Krista Cahill, and Chris will be demonstrating for me. At the end of the video, we will show you how to donate. If you have the means, we would really appreciate any contribution, and have a great practice. Come to your mats when you're ready. We're going to try sitting on the heels in Vajrasana. So Chris can show sitting on the heels just by itself, but I realize maybe not everybody has the capability for sitting on the heels without a block. So let's show putting a block between the heels and making a little variation in Virasana. If you still don't get relief, just come into a cross-legged position. So the knees don't need to be any closer than hip distance apart, so just so they're comfortable. Take any position in your hands, relax your shoulders. And when you feel ready, let your eyes close. Taking a moment to just stop before we begin. Relaxing the jaw, the wrinkles of the forehead. Breathe naturally. No need to alter the breathing. Just taking in the breath with awareness. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, take a slightly larger breath, inhaling all the way to your maximum. Open the mouth and with a little sigh. 2 more like that, inhaling. Notice how the shoulders, they naturally sort of lift up in a weird way as you inhale. Let that happen. Observe the natural lift of the outer collarbones. And as you open your mouth and exhale, they'll drop. The shoulders naturally become heavier. And one more time, just with your own rhythm. Inhaling, feeling the outer corners of the collarbones rise as they naturally will. And just opening the mouth whenever you feel ready, letting the outer collarbones release down with the weight of gravity. And bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, so the thumbs rest at the base of the sternum bone. That's called your xiphoid process. The inner elbow bones release towards the rib cage, hugging you gently. Observe your intentions for practicing yoga. Bringing your forehead slightly down towards your fingertips, gazing into the heart center. Lifting the head, bringing the chin parallel, and releasing your hands down, letting your eyes open. So today we will work a little bit with back bending. One of the most important things to know about back bending is how to gaze properly, so dristi. So we're going to work a little bit on eye exercises for the peripheral gaze. So what Chris and I are both going to do is you're going to bring the arms straight out in front of you with the index fingers next to each other. And you're gazing straight ahead, so the eyes won't actually look anywhere but straight ahead. And as you start to move slowly your fingers apart from each other, I want you to observe how your eyes, your gaze can become wider. And we call this peripheral gazing. And just continue to open your fingers as wide as you can, and just stop only when you can no longer see the fingers in your periphery. Just notice how stretched open the gaze can be. And see how difficult that is to keep your gaze looking towards the sides, even as you bring your hands back together. So we call these peripheral gazing exercises. And you're going to do one more time. So continue looking forward and stretch your awareness all the way out as far as you can. So there's a nerve in the eye that helps to trigger relaxation response when you have this peripheral gaze, rather than what's called concentric gazing, which is the predator gaze, focusing in the center. And then you can release your arms down. And we're going to come now onto the hands and knees. So if you were using a block, you can set it off to the side. So we will take just a little stretch for the wrist. Go ahead and turn your hands. Try with the fingers pointing laterally out to the sides. And if this feels okay and you want to try turning completely, you can try turning your fingers all the way around back. And just feel how there may be a little stretch down near the wrist joint, but we're not really going to insist that the heel of the hand push so heavily here. Chris, maybe walk your knees back a few centimeters. There you go. And now what Chris is going to do is he's going to start to make a circular motion. So he's going to take his chest forward and around the heels of the hands and then slightly back. And he's going to allow the heel of the hand to lift when the hips start to move back toward the heels. That way there's no forceful feeling of jamming the wrists down. And you can play with various ranges of motion. You can keep the circle very tight, or you can go for a wider circular motion. And then at some point just switch and go the opposite way, so you feel your shoulders going in all directions, forward, sideways, and back. And then when you're ready, you're just going to bring your hands back, pointing forward into a nice natural tabletop position. Okay, and now we're going to do a few just scapular push-ups. So imagine a finger or 3 fingers at your spine between the shoulder blades, and as you inhale, you're going to drop the shoulder blades towards the spine and squeeze those imaginary fingers. And as you exhale, you're going to press the shoulder blades away from the spine, giving your shoulders a nice little lift. So let's take 4 more. Bringing on an inhale the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, pressing the shoulder blades way out away from the spine. 3 more. As you inhale, you collapse. And as you exhale, you lift the inner shoulders, chest. 2 more. As you exhale, you push the earth away, and do 1 more cycle, drawing the shoulder blades tightly in, and then using the strength of the sides of the body to press out. And now Chris is going to keep the shoulder blades as wide as they are here, and he's going to lift his head up as the first part of, as if he was going into scorpion. The tailbone will be the last part of the body to go into this shape. Very good. And then when you exhale, the first part to move is the sacrum and then the lumbar. So you round before you get to the shoulders in the lumbar spine. The head is the last thing to drop down. When you drop the head, it's very easy to keep the shoulder blades wide, so maintain that as you start to come back into the scorpion shape, lifting the head, and as a sequence going slowly towards eventually the tailbone lifting. So you try not to skip the middle. As you exhale, round first the end where the sacrum is and up all the way until the ears drop. And then as you inhale, it's first the vertebra between the ears, then the neck vertebra, upper back, and you go slowly, precisely down the spine. And do 1 more, starting with the sacrum, going into the backward rotation. Very good. And now you're going to come into the arched position. So this is an inhale position, keeping the shoulder blades wide as the head is lifted. And we're going to practice Ashtangasana, knees, chest, and chin. So Chris, you can move the knees back a few more centimeters and take your toes into the tucked position. Now, the inhale, the ears, the vertebra between the ears lifts. That's the premier movement. And then as you exhale, keeping the shoulder blades wide, the elbows bend and you bring your chest down right between the hands, the chin forward on the mat. Good. And now release down completely and take Cobra. So again, the ears are the first thing to lift. And here in Cobra, we're going to stay in a baby version. So the pelvis will remain in a backward rotation. The upper part of the back engages to lift the chest. And you can test out how strong your spine is by lifting your hands a few centimeters off the ground and feeling if it's the spine or the shoulders doing this work for these last 3 breaths. See if you can come a little higher. And now press the hands, go a little higher, last inhale. And on the exhale, release the forehead all the way back down to the earth. Press with your 2 hands, maintain the parallel position with the elbows. And you're going to come up to tabletop position. Tuck the toes underneath and move the hips back all the way. Once the hips come back, lift the knees, downward facing dog. There you go. So taking a few moments, your first dog, if you want to walk the legs, wag the tail. Check in with your breathing and your peripheral gaze so we do have that sense of opening the awareness. And stretching it way, way back on your next inhalation. Look up. Keep that lift in your head and you're going to walk your feet all the way until you meet your hands. Separating the feet a little larger than the pelvis. Inhale, the vertebra between the ears lifts up. And as you exhale, the belly comes to the thighs first, then the chest to the knees, and really, most often, the head doesn't eventually touch the shins for almost everyone. Okay, take the hands behind your sacrum, cross the fingers, or you can use a kitchen towel or a belt, and take the arms up towards the ceiling and then overhead. Use gravity and the weight of your head to bring the spinal vertebra down towards the earth for 3, 2. Now just lift your body halfway up. So this is a variation on Ardha Uttanasana. Change the crossing of your fingers or tighten the belt a little bit. Again, inhale, lift your shoulders up away from the floor. And then as you exhale, belly first. Eventually the chest to the knees. And very lastly, the head releases down. So there is a sequence to the movement of the spine. Last 3, 2, pressing both feet as you come all the way up into the vertical position. Use an inhale to stand tall and release your arms. And you can give your arms a little shake. So, yeah, when you are walking down the street, your arms are not stiff at your sides. So Chris, show that feeling of the arms moving forward and back as if you were walking. So a good sign that you've taken a great yoga class is when you walk out of the studio and your arms are swinging as you walk. Okay, show what it would look like with the arms stiff, Chris. Your shoulders are moving and your arms are like stuck at your side. So this is not what we want, okay? So Chris, now take both arms forward and back and swing. Yeah. So what you're going to notice in Chris's body is as he takes the arms forward, his hips are going to start to come forward too. That's it. And he's going to start to get a little movement in his pelvis. And if the arms go higher, his hips are going to start to go higher too. So it's really not an effort for him to start to move the pelvis into a position where the psoas and quadriceps are starting to open and stretch. Do a couple more of those. Just really loosen up. Yeah, let gravity and the momentum take you. Good job. One more. And then release. So what you'll start to feel is that when we're doing back bends, the key is really to get rid of the tension in the body and to figure out how to position the pelvis so that it is the premier movement of the extension of the spine backwards. So Chris, I'm going to give you the option to keep your feet wide, or you can bring your feet together. Okay, we're just going to take a few rounds of Ardha Surya Namaskara A, so half Surya Namaskara A. Rotate your palms open, so this is external rotation. And as you inhale, take your arms sideways and all the way up, and see if you can let the pelvis slightly come forward over the center of your feet. There you go. As you exhale, open the arms again to the sides, bring your belly to your thighs, eventually chest to knees, lastly the head and hands release down. Come just halfway up again, moving the pelvis slightly forward over the center of the foot. And on the exhale, fold into Uttanasana again. Take the arms sideways, and as you inhale, come all the way up. And as your head goes back, the hips might slightly come forward. The arms at your side, Samastitihi. So we're going to do one more like this. Ardha Surya Namaskara. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, as the head comes forward, the hips slightly move back. Good. Now bring the hands down, the hips slightly forward, head up. Inhale. Exhale, folding Uttanasana last time. Open the arms. Inhale, come all the way up, slightly pressing the hips forward. And exhale, the arms at Samastitihi. Okay, so we're going to take a modification of the A sun salutations. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, descending on Uttanasana. All the breath is out at the end. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha. And now you're going to bend the knees, lunge just with the left leg way back behind you. So in addition to making a transition, we're getting a little bit of a stretch in the front of the left leg. So this is the key area we want to focus on. As the heel and the left leg are resisting back, the entire spine, driven by the crown of the head, is moving forward. Last 3, 2. Now bring the hands completely flat to the ground. Keep your body exactly as it is, and don't change anything as you sneak the right foot back, coming fully into plank position as you inhale. And simple down dog stretch as you exhale. Again, lift the vertebra between your ears, look forward, come into plank. Place the knees on the ground and lower through this modified chaturanga all the way to the earth. Cobra pose, release the toes, inhale, use the spine, come up. Exhale, bring the forehead down. We're going to take the modification coming into tabletop. So as you inhale, press onto your knees, curl the toes, moving the hips back as you exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Look forward, bring the knee to the chest, and as you exhale, step the right foot between the hands. Now again, we're going to stretch the left quadricep, so bring the left knee down. At home, feel free to pad the knee if you need to. Point your left toes, and bring the arms all the way up overhead. Okay, take an inhale here, and now you're going to bring your arms into a cactus-y shape as you exhale. Okay, as you inhale, you're pushing the arms back up into the vertical position. And as you exhale, bring the arms, elbows down. One more time. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bring your elbows down. And now stay in this position, and you're going to bring your hands parallel to the floor and back behind your hips. And again, we're going to interlace the fingers behind you. As you inhale, pull the arms, shoulders, knuckles back, maybe head back slightly. As you exhale, reach your fingertips forward to the mat, framing your foot. Tuck the back toes. On the next inhale, step to the front of the mat, Ardha Uttanasana. Full lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold on Uttanasana. Take the arms all the way above your head as you inhale. And we're going to go direct into Uttanasana, fold on the exhalation. Head up, Ardha, inhale. The right leg will take a giant step back. Okay, we're going to take a few breaths here, preparing the right quadricep and hip flexor for the back bends we're going to do later. So the back leg has a quality of Tadasana, and the spine is going forward. So especially where the upper part of the back is, it likes to lift. Think forward instead. Last 2. Place your hands completely flat on the ground. Step into plank on your next inhale. Simple downward facing dog, exhalation. Using the spine, lift the gaze, inhale, come into plank. This time, legs straight, or take the knee bent variation, chaturanga, to the floor. Point the toes, Come to cobra. And if you prefer, stay in cobra or come to upward facing dog from here. You can go through child's pose, that would be a variation, or straight legs to downward dog. The first thing that lifts is the pelvis. Here in downward facing dog, take an inhale, lift the left leg up. Lift your gaze, exhale, knee, chest, and step forward. Low lunge, back knee down, point the toes. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale the arms into a cactusy shape. Again, push the arms, sides of the body up, inhale. Bring the arms down as you exhale. One more time, inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, bring the elbows down. Hold in this shape, parallel with the hands, and now take the hands back. If you can remember, cross the unusual fingers on top. Take an additional inhale, reach the arms, shoulders, maybe crown of head back. Exhale, release the fingertips forward, framing your foot. Okay, curl the right toes on an inhale, step to the front of the mat, Ardha. Exhale, release into Uttanasana. Bring the arms out all the way up as you inhale, Urdhva Hasta Asana. Samastitihi Tadasana, exhalation. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, two hands down on the earth. Ardha Uttanasana, inhale, lift your gaze. Prepare and either step or jump back. Chaturanga or a modification. Cobra or upward facing dog, inhale. And downward facing dog for a few breaths, exhalation. So open up your feet a little larger than the hips. Observe your hand position. Okay, make sure one hand hasn't gone forward of the other. And breathe here for 3, 2, engaging the spine first, lifting the gaze way up. So continue pushing the hips back, bend your knees, and either you jump or step the feet to your hands. That would be an inhale. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Open the arms, make a big circle up. Exhale, arms at your side. One more like this. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale. Exhale, all the way into Uttanasana. Ardha, inhale, half lift. March or jump back as you exhale, floating chaturanga or plank. Inhale, cobra is fine, or Urdhva Mukha. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So adjust the foundation of your hands and feet. Gentle, organized breathing for 3, 2. Again, lift your gaze up. Exhale, bend the knees on an inhale. Travel and land in Ardha Uttanasana shape. Exhale, descend on Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up, Urdhva Hasta. Exhale, arms at your side, Samastitihi. Very good. So taking a few moments, if you have the capacity to close your eyes here in Tadasana. Release the inner edges of your heels straight down into the earth. Open and spread the toes so you have a nice wide mountain base. And from the outer edges of your ankles all the way outside your knees to the outer thighs, you're lifting the mountain up to its peak at the crown of the head. And open your eyes if they were closed. Take your arms all the way out and up on an inhalation. And you're going to stay with this lift in your spine, and you're going to move the hips back and down into chair pose as you exhale. Stay here, take an inhale. Exhale, hands all the way to the earth, Uttanasana, forward fold. Okay, halfway lift, inhale. Now lunge with a giant step with the left leg all the way back. Okay, and you're going to stay on your toes. Walk your hands up on the right front knee and straighten your arms. So yes, you can bend the knee until it's just above the ground and feel that this might give you accessibility to lift and upright the pelvis a little bit more. The challenge will be now at lifting the back leg and not letting the pelvis go into a forward rotation. So do your best that you can. Okay, and if you can, straighten the back leg all the way eventually. See how that goes. Good, and now we're gonna add the arms. So when you're ready, take the arms out and all the way up. A feeling of driving the pubic bone straight forward as the head starts to move back. So the more the pelvis goes forward, the more the weight of the head will be supported to go back. Last 2 breaths. Last inhale. And as you exhale, both hands all the way down. Now you're going to keep the left hand as it is and bring the right arm into a vertical position for a twist. 2 shoulder blades evenly release down away from your ears. The crown of the head driven by the spine is reaching forward. Last 3, 2, and release. Now you're going to be on your fingertips, or if you feel you need to use blocks, you can use blocks or books. Now, you're going to bring the back foot up a couple centimeters closer, turn the heel in. Okay, and now we're going to slowly begin to straighten the front leg, feeling the top of the outer right leg moving towards the left heel as much as possible. Okay, and now inhale, lift first, the premier movement with the ears, and then as you exhale, the belly to the thigh, chest towards knee, and eventually you're bringing the chin down to the shin, but for most of us it doesn't happen for a very long time. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. First, starting with the vertebra between your ears, lift your spine up, come to your fingertips or using your blocks. Turn onto your back toes, march the left foot to the front of the mat. Take a nice long inhale, finding your length. Exhale, Uttanasana, belly on thighs. Chair pose, bend your knees, sit down into your legs, reach up. Stay here, sit deeper as you exhale. Okay, as you inhale, maybe move the ears slightly back. Exhale, hands down to the earth, return Uttanasana position. Inhale, halfway lift up. The right leg is going to take a huge step all the way back. You're staying on the ball of the foot, hands to your left knee. Here you're going to find your balance and the position of the pelvis so it has a more upright quality than forward. And as the pubic bone drives slightly forward, it is the top and bottom of the left shin that resist, as well as the top part of your right leg. As you straighten the leg, the resistance is going to be increased. Okay, when you're ready, take the arms out, and if you have the balance, maybe you can look up and bring your hands together. With each exhalation, the pelvis moves forward, allowing the head to go back towards the right heel. Last 2. Go a little bigger. Exhale, both hands down. Placing the right hand down, left arm goes into the vertical stretch. So here we're going to twist. Okay, use the back leg and heel to resist as you bring the spine, crown of the head forward, giving you that length to turn deeper. Last 2. Left hand down as you exhale. Right foot bumping up a few centimeters, turning the heel. Okay, and use the blocks if you need to. So let's show that just so people can see. You have this level or this level. Just show on the tallest level for people. Yeah, and then this gives you the ability, almost everyone, to really pull that left hip back as you straighten the legs. So you're not doing it necessarily from the knee joint. Then the spine ejects away from the pelvis, and you can bring the belly first. It's in a sequence, then the chest. And really, it may take your whole lifetime to get the chin on the shin. It's really not that big of a deal when it happens. Last 2. Inhale, starting with the sequence of the vertebra between your ears, lifting first. Come all the way up. Turn onto your right toes. Place the right foot to join the left foot. That's an inhale. And then when you're ready, remove the blocks to the side and exhale, Uttanasana. Chair pose, bend the knees. And this time you're going to stand in Tadasana. On the exhalation, lower your arms by your sides. Okay, in one breath, arms up, sit in chair. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward bend position. Inhale, Ardha shape. You can either jump or march back, plank or chaturanga. Inhale, release the toes, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, now we're going to take a fun little stretch. So lift your right leg up, open the hip. Once you have a stacking feeling, you can bend the knee, take a few moments. If you want to, you can circle that right ankle a little bit, mobilizing the ankles. Very good for back bends. And now lift as high as you can onto your left toes so you feel like a ballerina. Feel your left hip stay that tall and try to stretch the left hip back towards the yoga mat. Yeah, so the hips go up even when the heel is reaching back and down. Good, now lift your gaze and place your right foot between your hands. Turn the back foot at a 45-degree angle. More or less is also acceptable. Bending the front leg, inhale, both arms come up, Virabhadrasana A position. And if you can, look up and touch. Exhale, both hands down, framing the right foot as you step back, come into plank. Okay? Feel free to go to down dog or chaturanga on the exhalation. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha or cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha. Okay, so we're going to take this fun little stretch, left leg up, open the pelvis and stack. Bend the knee, and if you want to circle the left ankle around, you can. Just explore your body. And now lift your right heel into the highest releve position you can. Feel how much higher your right hip is. Keep that and reach the right heel back and down. Look up, and now place your left foot all the way to meet your hands. Turning your right foot for Virabhadrasana A. As you inhale, come all the way up. If you can, look up, bring your hands together. On the exhale, release your hands down. Take your time, either going into down dog from plank or chaturanga with control. Inhale, it's cobra or upward facing, and exhaling back into downward facing dog. So take a few moments here, adjust your gaze and your breath. Open up into the lateral ribs when you breathe. Last two. Last one. Lifting your gaze, on an exhale, bend the knees. On an inhale, travel, step or jump. Exhale down into Uttanasana. One inhale, chair pose. Stand up as you exhale, arms release down at your sides. Samastitihi. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to have you take your feet, turn out towards the right edge of the mat. You can step or jump, and about 70-ish centimeters between your heels. Always lining up by the heels. Sometimes our toes are different lengths. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take your entire right leg and turn it out towards the back of the mat. Okay. And now turn your back toes in until you can get your back hip to face the right foot. There you go. Okay, so we're going to take an opportunity this morning with the block to practice parivrita, which means revolving trikonasana, triangle pose. So you can set up a block on the inside or the outside of your front right foot. I'll leave that up to you. Okay. And then once you feel that you're standing on your 2 feet evenly, inhale, stretch the left arm up. And as you exhale, without letting the left hip come with you, you're pinning the left hip back, and you're going to stretch the left side of your lumbar forward, and you're going to bring your hand down onto that block. So the correct way to use the block is to never put your hand flat, but to always be on fingertips. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then if it feels like it's too high, you can always drop the block down to a nice medium or low level. So the idea is that you find a separation. The left hip resists back, and the left lumbar goes forward. And then eventually, once you have all that length, you should be able to turn and stack the right shoulder above the left. When you feel ready, you can take the right arm into a vertical position. And if you want to challenge the gaze, turn and look either to the right side or up towards the left arm. Okay. But continue to feel the back leg resisting the movement of the spine. So you're finding in 2 directions elongation. Last 3. Last 2. Gaze down, right hand, right hip. Hold the block, and as you inhale, you're going to come all the way up. You're going to turn your body around to face the opposite side, so the front of the mat. And set your block down either inside or outside the foot. So now you have maybe more of an idea of what you're doing. Okay. The 2 feet, their weight is even. And now you're going to lift the right arm up. Okay. Keeping that feeling of the right hip anchored back, start to go forward. So don't think down right away. Just like when we do the forward fold, the head is just not coming down. It's first the movement in the lower spine. Then when you feel you have all that length, bring the fingertips down to the block. Take that extra little pause to move the right hip back and the right side of the rib cage forward. And then that space provides you with the twist, so you can bring the left shoulder above the right. And see how that feels to look maybe to the side or eventually to look up. So when you look up, it's going to help you to be able to lift up as you stretch the right shoulder down for 3, 2, take your gaze down. Bring your left hand to your left hip, and you can bring the block with you and come all the way into a parallel position, turning your feet towards the right edge of the mat. Okay, now we're going to do Parsvakonasana. So you're going to take maybe 2 or 3 centimeters wider, so maybe 72 or 3 centimeters between your feet. Turn the left toes in, 15 degrees. There you go. Turn the right leg out, 90 degrees. Okay. Now, you're going to have the block in the right hand if you're using it. Bring your arms parallel. Okay. And what we're going to work on is not letting the right waist go forward. So, Chris, can you show it just when the right waist goes forward? So the movement didn't happen in the hips. It's just his lumbar collapsed on the left side. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into an upright position. And you're going to keep that as you bend the knee. So you're finding first the position of almost warrior 2. The right ribs are going to stay engaged as the hips start to turn back towards the left foot, and the block is going to come to the inside of the foot. And you can have it there on the highest, medium, or I think, Chris, today let's do the lowest level for you with your fingertips on the ground. All the way down. There you go. So the left side of the waist has not dipped in. It's stayed flush with the ribs and the pelvis. Okay? And the movement is largely coming from the pelvis turning. Good. Now you're going to take a little bit bigger stretch, opening the inner shoulders. And you're going to take the arm actually behind your back this time. So internal rotation, and bring the arm behind you. You can rest your hand either on the lumbar or you can take it around to the thigh. Last 3 breaths here. 2 breaths here. Look down, come to warrior 2. Bring the block with you as you inhale. Straighten your leg, keeping your arms up. Switch the block into the left hand and turn your feet. Right toes in at 15 degrees. Left leg pointing at 90. Okay. Adjusting so your pelvis is in the upright position, and you just sit straight down as you bend the knee on an exhalation. Okay. Keeping the right waist moving back, start to turn your pelvis towards that right heel. Good. And bring the block down inside your foot, staying on your fingertips. Right arm vertical position. Working those left obliques like crazy to keep the waist on the right side fluffy and lifted, against the antagonist of the pelvis, turning and facing back towards your right heel. Good. Now open the inner shoulders a little wider. Turn the arm internally so the thumb goes away from you and behind your back for 3 breaths. So here we are, getting the pelvis to turn towards the back right heel without dropping the right waist towards the left thigh. Last breath in. Now look down, bring the block up with you as you come to warrior 2, 1 breath here. And now exhale, bring your hands down. You can set the block off to the side, either directly into down dog or set up plank for chaturanga. cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to take a child's pose. So bring your knees down onto the ground, point your toes, and take a few breaths. So what you're doing here is creating a connection of mindfulness, mind and body. You're having a deeper experience with what's happening in these poses. It's not just a surface experience, but there are levels of energy being affected by every single move and breath. Feel what's going on here, deeper and deeper in your body, down to the energetic level. Okay, Chris, now you're going to come up into a tabletop position again. Okay, and you're going to have exactly a little bit more distance. Okay, so the right leg is going to extend back at a parallel position. Okay, and now he's going to create a scorpion leg by bending his knee and bringing the heel towards the sky. So this position is actually just like going into a scorpion handstand. The vertebra between the ears lifts first, the two shoulder blades are broad on the back, and he's going to push the heel, the thigh of the right leg up as high as he can. That would be the inhale position. On the exhale position, the knee is going to come to his chest, and he's going to bring his head down in the opposite counterposing position, like a scared cat. So inhale, he lifts the vertebra between his ears and the leg goes up into scorpion position. And as you exhale, you're bringing the knee to the chest and the head down. Shoulders stay wide the whole time. Inhale, scorpion position, third round. Exhale, scared cat, knee to chest position. Good. Inhale, arch, scorpion position. Exhale, scared cat position. One more time. Inhale, scorpion position. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest, scared cat position. Now keep the knee to the chest, tuck under the left toes, and straighten the left leg up. Yes, there you go. So it's not that you're lifting from your shoulders, it's actually the lower back lifting up to be as high as the shoulders for 3. Good job. 2. And now three-legged dog. You're going to stretch all the way back. Stretch the leg as high as you can. Take a big inhale. And now lunge the right foot between your hands as you exhale. Bringing your left knee down, point the toes, and come up into this mini Anjaneya Asana. Okay, take a big breath in. If you can, the hands touch you, look up. Now lower your hands to prayer, namaste position at your heart. Continue feeling a little bit of this upright pelvis that we worked on before as you inhale. Now twist your left elbow around to the outer right knee. Some of you will be able to place your outer left shoulder deltoid to the outside of the knee, and you could always play with bringing your left hand to the outer heel on the floor. I want to leave you guys all of these options with the different hand positions, Krista, whatever works best for you. And you can definitely stay with the back knee down because you are accessing the front of the leg still. Or if you want to work a little bit more on your balance, take the back toes under and again press the back thigh up away from the earth. Continue moving in 2 directions, so the top of the left leg and the left lumbar move in opposite directions for 2. And 1, bringing the hands down. You're going to take plank position and lower all the way completely down, pointing your toes behind you. Okay, we're going to take Shalambhasana A position. Bring the hands by your hips, the palms face the ceiling. So we start with the legs lifting, press the tops of the thighs up. Okay, the pelvis is doing a backward rotation, and the first thing that starts the scorpion movement is the head, the vertebra between the ears. So you're going to feel, not the chin going forward, but yes, yeah, that's it. You're lifting the back of your head and breathing for 3. He's doing really good with this. 2. Now keep your legs and head as they are. Bring your hands like cobra. This is B position, Shalambhasana. 1. Open the 2 shoulder blades and lift the vertebra between your ears higher. Last 2. And get longer as you release down. Very, very good. Okay, now from here, because I know that's a lot, you're going to come up to tabletop position and we're going to do the scorpion, cat, cow variation again. So, it is the most challenging thing in the world in scorpion to keep your shoulder blades broad, and that's why this exercise works really well at helping us to understand that action. The left leg is going to start by going back parallel to the ground. Bend the knee, so again we're creating a little scorpion shape, and you can really see it's not the foot lifting, it's the thigh way up at the hip pushing up. Now the vertebra between his ears, it's not the chin going forward, it's the head lifting up as if the head's seeking the foot. Eventually they'll touch. And then on an exhalation, the knee comes to the chest. You counterpose that, rounding the lower back. Very good. Inhale, scorpion position, head up, leg up. Exhale, the premier movement is the sacrum, rounding the pelvis away from the lumbar. Good. Again, inhale, we have 3 more. Lifting into scorpion. Exhale, lifting the sacrum, bringing the knee to the chest. Good. 2 more times. Inhale, scorpion shape. Exhale, bringing the knee to the chest. Last time in the scorpion shape. Inhale, push the leg, the head way up to touch each other. Keep all this lift. Exhale, the sacrum turns away. You're going to bring the knee to the chest. So this part is what we want to lift up. I know you can lift here. I'm not interested, so drop this down a little bit. And I want this to go higher. Okay, now curl the back toes under, and premier movement as you lift the back knee is going to be the feeling of this going up for 3. There you go. Lift it higher. Yes, 2. You feel your belly engaged now. 3-legged dog. Good job. All the way. Stretch that dog back. Look up and come forward. Super. Okay, knee down. We're taking a little moment. Pointing toes. Arms come up. Anjane Mini. Okay. Inhale as you go a little bigger. Now lower the hands to the heart as you exhale. So we keep the pelvis here as you inhale. And now he's going to turn the right shoulder or elbow to the outer knee thigh. Feel free to open the arms if that works for you. It doesn't work for everyone. Consider keeping the back knee down or take the back toes into the tucked position. And from the very top of the leg, not really from the knee eventually straightens via the leg lifting. You're going to breathe here for 3. Everything is always in 2 directions. Ha, tha, sun and moon. 2. And releasing the hands down. Taking it into a plank position. Coming down onto the belly. Exhale with control. Okay. And now, good job. You're going to scoot back a little bit and bring your elbows forward like Sphinx pose. So this is an exercise that is really great for engaging multifidus or multifidi. So the multifidi are the little tiny muscles that help to create space between the vertebrae, so the vertebrae don't squish down onto your discs and soft tissues. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to bring your elbows a little wider than your shoulders, and you're going to bring your hands flat. Very good. And the hands are not only going to push down, the elbows not only pushing down, but you're pulling slightly back. And the objective is to feel that the front ribs are being attracted to the hip bones and vice versa. The hip bones are also being attracted to the front ribs. Now, can you do that pulling back action while also moving the vertebra between your ears straight back? So that doesn't mean lifting the chin up, it means moving your ears back. And this is the hard part, isn't it? Last 3. Your back will feel as if it has rebar connecting it, not just multifidi. 2. And 1. Okay, so now you can relax that a little bit. Walk your elbows forward just slightly, maybe a few centimeters. Okay, we're going to take Ardha Bakhasana. So now, Chris, what you're going to do is bend your right knee and with your right hand reach back and hold the inside edge of your foot. So this is a great quadricep stretch for almost all of us, just to do this much, okay? But if you can, you're using, again, the left elbow pressing down and kind of pulling back to engage those frontal hip bones. So the frontal hip bones and the ribs have this symbiotic relationship where they need to be connecting, magnetizing towards each other. As you do that, use the strength of your right hand to bring the heel closer down. And you're going to see the elbow is going to bend and lift up as you flip the fingers to point the same direction as the toes. So as we engage multifidi, maybe the ears can start to go back in line with the shoulders. And this is the challenge here for 2. One more. And release all the way down. Okay, we're going to do the left side directly. So when you're ready, place your right elbow. Bend your left knee with your left hand, stretch back. Okay, prepare the right arm to use the tractioning of the arm back to give you that security in your spine. Bringing the heel in, the ears start to move back, so that last vertebra, that premier vertebra, the cervical one between the ears, in line with the shoulders. Last 3. Head back a little more. There you go. 2. Think about scorpion. You're bringing your ear to that left foot. And very good. Release all the way. Okay. So now we're going to do a little counter posture. So I'm going to invite you actually to interlace your fingers together. So this would be a variation on this. Okay, and like we did before, imagine there was somebody putting their fingers in your spine. And on an inhale, you're going to collapse your shoulder blades together. So this is as much as we know. Now try lifting your head up here. See how much easier that is to lift your head with the shoulder blades pinched together? It's too easy for almost all of you out there. So what you have to do is you have to press the shoulder blades away from the spine and move that premier cervical vertebra back at the same time. So see if you can keep all of those things happening. Engage the front ribs towards the frontal hip bones towards the front ribs. Come onto your knees or curl your toes, and let's do forearm plank. Yes. So if you are like me and like almost everyone, the easiest part to lift is the part between the shoulders. Let's try to mitigate the lifting there, and let's try to lift more the sacrum to be even with the shoulder. So this down a little bit and this up a little. Last 3. Feel the difference in that? Now open between your inner shoulder blades without lifting this up. Yes, so it has to come 2 without changing the spine. 1 more. And you're going to move your knees in a little bit and take a child's pose directly. There you go, and rest for a few moments. So the interesting thing about the spinal movement is sometimes we compensate with the shoulder strength, and we're not actually getting as much spinal mobility as we might think we are because we're doing the positions, but it's coming from the strength of the shoulders instead. So we have to be mindful that the spine needs different exercises so it can become mobilized as well. Okay, when you're ready, stretch your arms forward, and you're going to make your way into downward facing dog. Very good. Okay. Inhale, look up, walk or jump your feet when you're ready towards your hands. On an exhalation, Uttanasana, forward fold. Good. Now you're going to bring your hands to your pelvis and stand up very nice and tall. Okay, good. So you're going to bend your left knee and with your left hand catch the top of your foot. Right away, you're going to feel this standing quadricep stretch. When the quadricep stretches and when the knee is being asked to move into extension, which means back behind the midline, what you'll probably notice in your body is that the frontal hip bones want to pitch forward. We call that a forward rotation or anterior tilt. So what we want to try to do is magnetize the frontal hip bones and frontal lower ribs together while you start to challenge to take the left leg back behind you. So doing all of those things is not necessarily easy. Take your time and breathe. Good. That's it, Chris. And then when you feel ready, a little fun position is to take the right arm up by your right ear. Try not to drop your head. Yes, that's it. Good. Last 2. Kick the leg a little higher, head up a little more. And now slowly come back as you arrive in the upright position. You can release your arm and then your foot down. Very good. This is a very challenging pose. So, right leg when you're ready, find your balance, hold your right foot. Do your best to get connected in the front of your abdomen. There is a movement of the right leg back, so into extension. The head also will start to move back, so this is a feeling that we are all going to have, whether you're doing scorpion or nataraj or cat and cow. Good. You can take the left arm when you're ready. Feel that the arm and the head are going back. As the foot kicks, it's lifting to try to touch your head. Last two. Bring your pelvis upright. Very good. When you're ready, you can lower the arm down. Bravo. And release your foot. Take a moment and stand in Tadasana. So to stand and open the quadriceps is a little harder than lying on the belly, yeah? So what we have to do is both. Right? We have to be able to do it in every orientation to gravity. Inhale, keeping your legs straight, reach your arms up, and let your hips slightly move over the center of your feet. So you get that little stretch in the front hips. And now as you exhale, open your arms and fold all the way, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, you can march or jump back. If you're done with vinyasas, go to down dog, we'll meet you there. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, now we're gonna do a little fun move. So inhale, lift your right leg up, open up your hip to stack again, bend the knee. And now you're gonna lift up your left heel, high releve position, and now turn your left heel away from the midline towards the left edge of the mat and set it down. And you're gonna slowly turn and flip the dog. The right toes, not the heel, just the toes on the ground behind you. And then lift your pelvis up, stretch open the hips, turn the top arm and reach overhead. Last two. And now with control, back to that three-legged dog shape. You're gonna bring the right leg all the way back behind you. Inhale, stretch. We're gonna counter pose, bringing the right knee to the chest, shoulders above the wrist, and step your foot all the way through. Good job. Okay, lower your back knee down. Again, if you prefer to have a little padding, put something under your left knee. Okay, now you're gonna walk your hands up to your front knee. Okay, this is a very similar position to the standing nataraj. What we're gonna do is we're gonna ask the back leg to come into a quadricep stretch. So reach back with your left hand. Do you need padding under the knee? No? Okay. So as much as the leg is going to come forward and eventually the heel rests on the outer hip, what we're going to try our best to do is not to lose this little connection of magnetism, the frontal hip bones lifting towards the bottom rib cage. Okay, if you can, with both hands, reach back and hold the foot. Apply the feeling of scooping the pubic bone forward so it doesn't go back, it's moving parallel to the earth towards your front heel. Last three. Great job, Chris. Now see if you can move your ears slightly back. Start to go into that scorpion-ish feeling. Two. Not so much the chin lifting, more the ears back. There you go. Last breath in. And then release. Hands down. Good job. You're going to take it all the way into plank position. And like I said before, you can go to down dog and wait there, or chaturanga on the exhale. Cobra or inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. So we're going to start with flipping over the dog. Lift the left leg up, stack open hip, bend knee, stretch. So start by lifting your right heel up. Turn the right heel out, away from the midline, set the heel down, and with control, bring your left toes behind you. So the star of the show, the peak of the pose is the pelvis. So see if you can get the hips to lift up, maximum, maximum, maximum. Press through those left toes as much as you can. Last two. Using your abdominals back to the three-legged dog position, taking your left leg, stretching it way back. Counter pose, knee to chest, lift your head, shoulders above wrists, and step. So we come into this mini lunge again last time. Walking your hands onto your front leg. So once you achieve balance, or maybe you need to pad the back leg, start to stretch your right quadricep. Bring the back toes in. With your right hand, you're gonna hold the top of the foot. Okay, and you're adjusting the amount that you bring the leg in with being able to keep your pelvis in what we call a backward rotation or neutral. There you go. Maybe you're going to be able to add the left hand to it. This side's a little tighter, huh? Yeah. Notice that your body is different right to left. None of us have symmetrical hips. Last 3. It's all fun information to take in. 2. Super job. Exhale, release your hands down. Last time we're going to take a vinyasa, or you just ditch it and go to down dog. Wait for us there. Inhale and exhale. Okay, for a few moments, take a child's pose. This is an important transition. So we feel again what happened so far in our body. We don't want to create or accumulate tension in this moment. We want to let it go. Feeling the shoulders relax, the hips, the weight go down. Now, when you're ready, you're going to come all the way onto your belly. So any transition you want to make to come down onto your belly, we're going to practice Dhanurasana, bow pose. Okay. So the foundation of Dhanurasana is the pelvis. So pressing your pelvis down is going to require your glutes to engage. Glutes are what extend the leg back behind you. So you're pressing your glutes down, and that's going to give your thighs a certain amount of buoyancy, and you're going to bend the knees once you feel the thighs in that buoyant state. With your 2 hands, reach back and hold your feet. If you're unable to hold your feet, it's okay. Just do it with your arms on the ground, okay? So without taking the pelvis into the back bend, because technically the pelvis won't go into the scorpion shape, what we do is we start with that vertebra between the ears. It's not about taking the chin forward. It's about lifting the head up. You'll feel that your shoulders are not really a part of this. It's the spine lifting and moving through the shoulders. Antagonize that by pushing your legs higher for 3. That's it. Ears back a little more. Not chin up, just ears back. 2. There you go. It's so hard, I know. And release as you exhale all the way down. Turn your head just to one side. Let your legs relax for a couple breaths. Take in some oxygen. Let go of tension. To open and back bends can bring up a lot of different frustrations and also feelings of being emotional. So just check in. Whenever tension comes up, let it go. Okay, and you're going to come up again. And now we're going to do Parshva Dhanurasana. Okay, so it comes with 15 breaths. Get ready. Next time you inhale, you're going to lift the tops of the thighs, bend the knees, pressing your pelvis into the ground, hold your feet. Okay, we start with 1 inhale, so that begins with the vertebra between your ears coming up, legs up. And as you exhale, you're going to roll over onto the right side of your body. So you're coming onto your right hip and right shoulder. Now, lift your head up and turn and try to look towards your left foot, Parshvadristi, and you're pushing your left leg up as high as you can for 3. It's okay? Great. 2, 1. Come to the center position. Again, 1 inhale. And now you're going to roll to the left side as you exhale. Turn, lift your head off the floor, turn, look if you can, and see the right foot for 3. Try to hold the foot. There you go. 2, and 5 breaths in the center. 1, come to the center, roll over, lift up, and breathe for 3. Good, toes wide. 2, lift your thighs a little higher, head a little higher, and release. Very good, all the way down. Rest, turn your head the other way, and take a moment. Nothing like a little taste of second series Ashtanga on Saturday morning. Very good, you guys at home, if you stayed with us. Okay, so now we are going to transition from here into child's pose. So take as much time on your belly as you need to. We will come into child's pose and meet you here whenever you have recovered. Keep in mind that back bends also stimulate adrenaline, so you could feel really giddy, giggly after back bends as well. Just observe whatever comes, don't judge. Okay, so now we need to do some counter posturing. So the best way to counter posture these back bends is actually to do some abdominal work, but we're going to do it today in the form of crow pose, Bakasana, okay? So Chris, when you're ready, you're going to come up and you're going to tuck your toes under and you're going to move yourself into a squat position. Yeah, good. So let's try, for those of you at home as well, to bring your feet together in Malasana. So eventually the feet are together, although there's lots of fun variations with the feet apart, okay? And now, as my teacher Mati used to teach, you're going to try to bring your elbows down on the ground, okay? And you know, this is a process, so if you don't get there today with your elbows on the ground, please don't stress yourself out. And even to make it a little bit more interesting, eventually she wanted us to bring the elbows back in line with the toes. So we really press the triceps back against that lower leg bone, and you can fasten the lower leg to the upper arm or to the upper shoulder eventually is really what she was asking for us. Now, we're going to show a variation. So Chris, let's show for people who can't get that much hip mobility. And you're going to step your feet up onto this block. So if you don't have a block, use books or something. So watch, he's going to be able to get his shoulders much further down against the shin bone now. And even though the elbows won't touch the ground because we've lifted him up on a block, he's actually able to get his legs even more close to the outer shoulder blades. Okay, now Chris, remember when we were doing scorpion, we never started scorpion from here, we started scorpion from the vertebra between your ears. So come slowly up with the crown of your head. There you go. So this wouldn't be technically the highest part of Bakasana. Technically, this would be the highest part, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to start to bring your hips forward. The legs will press against the arms, and you're going to try to come into straight arms if you can. And you're not going to lift to the highest part here. You're going to keep your hips and head lifting up. Maybe one foot or both feet can come off the blocks. Great job. The feeling of the abdominals undoing whatever the back bends we're creating before. And then you're going to come back into Malasana and rest. So that was Bakasana, crow pose A, okay? Now for those of you who want to try a little something different, you can repeat A, of course, but we can try B, which is jumping from down dog into Bakasana, okay? So walk your hands forward, feet back into downward dog. And honestly, it's not about landing the crow pose. First, what you want to try to do is just land lightly. So Chris, lift your gaze way up, okay? And you're not going to land Bakasana. I just want you to bring your feet back behind your hands and land in the lightest Malasana you can. So you guys at home can start with just jumping into the squat from down dog. Very good. And then jump back and do that a few times. So this is great cardio. You should include your children. Jumping and landing your feet together behind your hands, knees touch triceps, but not necessarily in crow. Okay, one more time. Your back will stay very rounded through this whole floating process. The head is what's lifting up, good. And now, if you want to try, you can try coming into directly crow pose from down dog. No expectations. Just bend your knees, see where you're going, pray, and Bakasana B, jumping and landing in Bakasana. And lifting the feet, fantastic, good job. Hold for 3, 2, and step or jump back. If you want to take a vinyasa, you can, or you can go directly into child's pose. Very, very nicely executed. Lower down, again, take a little child's pose. Super. So these kinds of things take so long to master and to make beautiful. Enjoy the process of being awkward in the beginning. It's beautiful. Wherever you are, honor. One more. And then when you're going to come up, you can either jump through and sit, or you can just swing your feet around, however, you need to transition here. Okay, you're actually going to sit. We're going to do Janu Shirshasana. So extend your left leg forward and bring your right knee back. Now, I like to bring the knee back 92 or 93 degrees because no matter what, whenever I start to turn towards my left leg, my knee is always coming with it. So if it's possible, just you keep the hips square as much as you can, but you just take the knee back. Yeah, so that's a function of that hip opening. There you go. Okay, now let's start with just a little twist. Take the left hand way out on the left side and take the right arm into the vertical position like we did before in Parivrita Trikonasana. Okay, so it's not that you're so much bringing the knee forward towards your left foot, but on an exhale, you're going to reach your right hand across to the outer left ankle or foot. And you're creating breath that moves the left waist all the way towards the left hand. So there is a feeling of the right obliques engaging and the energy pushing towards the left side of the body as you turn for 3. This is just a little preparation. Getting the right side of the rib cage to assist the right arm in its position 2. Okay, now we're going to take the full pose. So bringing your right hand either to the inside of the foot, or you can always use a belt, left hand to the outside of the foot. Take an inhale, keeping the twist of the navel towards the left thigh. Exhale, Janu Shirshasana. So Janu is the knee, Shirsha is the head. But again, Chris is going to show what we don't want, which is just to take the head forcefully to the knee. So it's so boring to do this. You don't want to do this. You would hate yoga after 5 years of doing that. So keep the head in the up position and feel that it's the sequence of the spine going to the thigh first. And you follow the sequence. So this part of the body, it doesn't just round as it likes to. It has the sensation that it's continuing to move forward towards the toes. Last 2. Yes, whether you get your head to your knee is not a big achievement in my mind. Inhale, come up. And as you exhale, you're going to switch, bringing the right leg forward. The hips will stay basically in line with each other. The left hip isn't coming back. That's not until you reach the Parivrita Janu Shirshasana. But I like to move the knee back a little bit to give myself some ability to twist. Okay, take the right hand out to the right. This will give you some balance. Vertical left arm, stretch, inhale. And now you're going to reach across for the outer ankle or right foot. Okay, and we're going to stay up for 3 breaths with the preparation here. You're breathing into the right side waist, turning the left ribs towards the right foot. Last 1. Good job. Prepare yourself. Look towards your right foot. Bring your right hand inside your left hand inside your right foot. Right hand outside. Use a belt if necessary. Inhale, create that space. And navel turns towards right thigh. You're moving the spine first. So the head is not the first thing to go down, unfortunately. It's the last in the sequence. Last 3. 2. And 1. Lifting first the scorpion ears up. Yeah, working that upper back and then coming all the way up and extending your legs out in front. Okay, now we're going to take Marichasana C position. It's a twist again. So the right foot is going to come in line with the right sitting bone, bending the knee into the upright position. And we'll use today the block. You don't have to, but bring your right hand behind you, either on a block or fingertips on the mat. And again, yeah, we never put the hand flat. That's too easy. Okay, the left foot is doing Tadasana, so nice and flexed. Okay, and now, this is a great variation, okay? Take the left arm up as you inhale, get that stretch, and then with your left hand, reach across the outside of the leg and bring the leg so the knee doesn't fall open. It stays vertical in the upright position. Okay, this is one option. The other option is to inhale, take the left arm up, and to bring the tricep to the front of the leg, eventually the shoulder outside the knee. And that's another way you can keep the knee from falling out. The elbow is being pushed by the right shoulder blade over the right wrist, and it's a feeling of that very challenging two directions. The opening of the shoulder blades plus the vertebra between your ears moving straight back for 3. As if you were moving your head against the floor. Push your head back. 2. Lift your spine. Yes, there it is. Last breath in. Very nice. Shift the gaze forward towards the left toes as you inhale, and as you exhale, release. Okay, this pose does not look at all as hard as it is. Change legs, bend your left knee, bringing the heel in line with your sitting bone. Okay, so you're gonna choose whichever variation you want. Inhale, take the right arm up. Either you hold with your right hand, or you, with your elbow, go to the outside, eventually the shoulder to the outside of the knee. Okay, here in the left elbow, you're stacking it above the wrist. Yeah, this is super Iyengar, so just try your best. I know it's challenging. The 2 shoulder blades are opening, and then you're asking the spine to lift up. And it's that feeling of the vertebra between the ears, yeah, pressing straight back. Just like you do in bridge pose. 3, very good. Right toes vertical. That's it. 2, super job. Look forward as you inhale. You get that little twist in your neck. And then exhale and release. Okay, fantastic. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Paschimottanasana. Feet are flexed. Okay. Now, take your arms out to the side, make a big circular movement, lifting your side body up. And when you come down, you start with the lower part. So it would be very easy just to take the head to the knees, but don't do that, resist it. Hold the feet, the outside of the feet, or use a belt if it's necessary. Okay. Again, take a little Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale, engage, move the head back, move the spine forward, and then as you exhale, move the head forward as if the head was being pulled towards your big toes. Okay. And you're going to lift your elbows up and pull them apart. Very good, pulling the shoulder blades apart. This action is so challenging. Last 3. Last 2 breaths. Come halfway up. Inhale, and you can release on the exhalation. Good job. Okay, now lie down on your back. So we're going to show the modification for shoulder stand. It's Viparita Karani, which is basically setting up bridge pose on a block. So lift your hips up, and you can go the tallest setting or a medium setting. Even the lowest setting would be workable. Okay, and then just like shoulder stand, you're going to place the palms flat on the mat. Just by doing this, you're already going to be releasing the top part of your shoulder back, which is going to start to instigate some sort of release in your chest muscles. Even though we did a lot of holding the ankles, Dhanurasana things, you know, maybe you still have a chronically tight chest. So just be aware of that. Okay. So some of you are going to stay with this. Others are going to take your legs up into a vertical position. So this Viparita Karani is a great way to practice shoulder stand without having to have the weight on your cervical spine. Okay, so it's one option. So do this if you need to. Take care of your body, of course. We're going to do Sharvangasana shoulder stand. So go ahead and bring your feet down, Chris. Okay, and we're going to remove the block. And now to come into Sharvangasana, we don't do Halasana first because Halasana puts a lot more pressure on the neck than Sharvangasana. So we'll wait to do Halasana until after we've warmed up the neck a little bit here. So the hands go down and you're going to come directly up with your hips and legs, placing your hands on your low, mid, or upper back, whatever you can directly. Okay. Now the key to shoulder stand is the chin never actually touches the sternum. There's always a little mini space between your chin and your sternum. And that way you know that the vertebrae are protected because the muscles of your neck are engaged. If the chin touches the sternum, you've compressed. And this is where we get into some trouble here. So once you get up, you can start to test to see how it feels in your neck, just to bring one leg down and force the other leg to work at going up. This position might give you some workability to bring your hands closer to your shoulders. See how that feels? And then take that leg back into the vertical position. And you can change, do the other leg halfway down. And again, try to get your hands eventually down by your shoulder blades. So this is something that we work on by lifting the spine. And if you feel it's good, you can take both legs down now and bend the knees a little bit. You could always use a piece of furniture, or if your feet rest on the floor, you can do Halasana, plow pose this way. Crossing the fingers, taking the arms into a straight as you can position, and working the flesh of the triceps gently underneath, so turning the arms. Take a breath in, and then you're going to bend the knees around your ears as you exhale. This is Karna Pindasana. Okay, and then we're going to come one more time into shoulder stand, so replace your hands on your back. Take one leg up, and then the other. Okay, and now you're going to bring your feet into Baddha Konasana. So if you have a lotus pose, do that instead. We're just going to show Baddha Konasana today. There you go, good. Last 3, 2. And now keeping the knees bent. If you're in lotus, you're coming down Pindasana. Otherwise, just bring your knees down again to your shoulders. And this time, you're going to take your hands to your ankles. So it would be a variation on Pindasana. Breathe here for 3, 2. Now, just like when you come out of any rounded position, it starts with your head. Your head is on the floor here, so you're going to start to press the vertebra between your ears back, and you're going to start to lower your spine slowly, but your head never comes off. Your head is pressing back as your hips release forward on the ground. So always keeping the head on the ground, never letting it lift up. There you go, good. Hug your knees towards your chest when you're finished for a breath. And the counter pose for shoulder stand and Halasana and Karnapindasana is fish pose, Matsyasana. So when you're ready, extend your legs, or if you have the lotus, keep your legs in lotus and just bring your knees to the front of the mat. Place your elbows by your side ribs, and you're gonna lift up, and if it's possible, you're gonna touch the crown of your head to the yoga mat behind you. Stay with your elbows on the ground if it feels precarious for your neck for any reason, or you can try lifting the arms in a 45-degree angle, starting to construct Uttana Padasana. Bringing the hands together and pointing your fingers away from your shoulders, and then eventually maybe lifting your legs to 45 degrees. Again, I caution you if you have neck issues, don't do this. And bring your feet down, bring your elbows down, plenty of lift in the head before you stretch your neck back. And very good, release here. Okay, one more time, you're gonna bring the knees in to your body and give yourself a little hug. Take your knees both over to the right side and twist. Take your left arm out. And you can make a little fist and karate chop, yes, this all in the wrist point down. So you feel the shoulder blade pressing onto your back. The closer the knees are to your armpit, the more you're going to stretch the lumbar. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, bring the knees over to the second side. Stretch away from your knees with the opposite arm. Press the outer ulnar wrist point down. As the shoulder blade presses onto your upper back, that will help this turning to feel as though it's happening above the waist. So you're going in two directions, one way below the waist, the opposite way above. And when you're ready, bringing yourself back to a center position. Give yourself a little rock on your back, hug your knees, and just investigate what's going on here in the spine. And when you're ready, you're going to take a few moments, set up whatever you need. After a back bend class, sometimes using a bolster at the back of your thighs is very, very relaxing. You can also use a pillow under your head. Take your arms and legs, let them roll out to a really comfortable shape. The eyes close and you can take a last deep breath in. Just opening your mouth when you feel ready, let it all drop. Shavasana. Coming slowly from the inside out, take a few moments, just breathe. Wiggling out your toes, fingers. And if you're using a cushion under your knees, you can bring your feet on top of that cushion or just simply bend your knees. Take your knees towards your chest. Give yourself one last little squeeze. Roll over to one side, coming to a seated position as you feel ready. Taking Anjali Mudra, hands at the base of the sternum. Namaste.